Welcome back to Pop Culture Roll Call, the show where our hosts are watching The Magicians by only viewing the scenes that their character is present for. This is Season 2, Episode 11, The Rattening.
Welcome back to another episode of Pop Culture Roll Call. I'm your host, Michael, watching everything from the point of view of Penny. To the left of me, as always.
It's Tasha, and watch everything from the point of view of Margot.
In front of me, as always.
It's Colin, watch everything from the point of view of High King Elliot, as always.
Right here, right now.
Hey, it's Brian. I watch as Quentin.
And creeping in the background often.
Producer James.
How come he says the title is The Rattening and y'all giggle? I don't get the context.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
It's an R storyline, the B plot, one might say.
Is it the B plot? I don't know. I've only done the B plot for like 3 episodes in a row now, completely divorced from the A plot. But I don't know if...
How many minutes you get?
Like, this one was like 8. The last couple have been like 12-ish.
Yeah.
12 and 8?
Yeah.
12 and 8.
7.
You 0?
Are you on vacation?
No, I'm 17.
Okay, I was man. You're the guy.
I don't see any of you.
Yeah. I got 8.
Okay. Because what I'm trying to suss is like we always have the question on where who are we missing, right? Like who's one of the main characters that we don't know as a main character because we're not watching from it. But this show is starting to give me more of like a pretty even split screen time between the bespoke like stories. Whereas I feel like some of the other shows that we've watched, and not to just call back to Buffy and Angel, but those are some of the bigger ones. Orphan Black did this too, where it's like, well, I guess Orphan Black is more like this show. What I'm trying to say is that a lot of other shows will be like, there's these couple episodes that are this character's like thing.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of stuff in here, and then we're going to give them a break for a little bit. But this show seems to be pretty consistent with like keeping the same number of minutes per person. Like, I don't feel like Elliot, since the season started, has had anything that's like less than 7 or more than like 14 to 12.
And nobody's ever like left completely out of an episode.
No.
That is true. That has happened. Margot has done that.
Yeah, like rare for 2.
In season 1.
In season 1,
but not
and like
this
a
season.
pre-written
This season,
thing.
it feels like because we have multiple locations and we've spread people out a little bit, we don't have to disappear people. They can just be doing something else.
Yeah.
I do think adding and this isn't like a season wrap up episode or whatever, but I do think adding Fillory as a second sort of bespoke location where its own things are going on that are directly tied to the real world, quote unquote, like Earth or whatever is happening. But like they are tied in and they're interwoven together, but you can basically ignore the connections if you just want to kind of like have a good time with the plot line that's happening in that area. And then they kind of like draw a little bit of a thread between just to make sure you know that they're still connected in like
and
the end
they'll
of this
converge
episode.
at some point.
Oh, for sure.
And they kind of urged a little bit because like Quentin's he was in the last episode, the magic dying out.
Yeah,
and
I'm saying like the big A plot from both sides will
I assume,
converge.
how many episodes were last season?
I believe it was 13.
Do you think we
We
might
might be
11.
getting close.
So we're probably close.
We're
It's
probably
feeling
close.
like we're getting close to a
big thing.
a big climax. I mean, this was definitely a reveal episode. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but especially with like Margot and Elliot, this was very much this episode has been coming for most of the season. Like this is maybe the big events didn't happen this episode. I didn't see everything, but it does feel like things are finally coming to a head.
Yeah.
The expected is happening kind
Yeah.
of deal. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, just in case, if you want to send in questions for the end of the season.
No. Look at us talking.
Expert gaslighting.
Beautiful time.
Wow.
Send it to popculturerollcall@gmail.com. If you're part of the Discord, you can go into the
Wrap-up
questions, right? Thank you. The hashtag wrap-up questions and chuck them in there. We won't see them. We know that they're spoilers. Only the producers have access to that, and not this one anymore because he's watching the show. I pointed. We're on camera sometimes. But yeah, popculturerollcall@gmail.com. Add something in the subject line like wrap up, and James probably won't tell me if we have like whole show wrap up questions or not. But if you have any questions and make sure you delineate or distinguish between them.
We'll get another season at least, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I thought this might be 2 and done. I think that might have been my prediction, but as we're approaching the end of this one, I don't
Two
think
and getting
so.
started.
I don't
It kinda-
feel like we are
Ending.
No,
I agree.
the characters have a lot of growing to do. We all like still kind of hate each other, and if this ends in like 2 episodes, they have a lot of like reconnection to do to make this feel satisfying.
My hands still
This was
suck.
a sci-fi show, right?
That I don't know.
Siffy.
Is a Siffy?
It's a Siffy.
It's a
It's a Siffy.
sci-fi show.
Okay.
So
It feels like they ran for.
it could run for quite a while, but it also could have gotten 2 seasons and just like axed.
Yeah, they do.
Like
they do.
it
cut.
could have been one or the other.
It could have a face-off run where it just kept going and going.
or just like the sad demise of the current demise of Poker Face, where it's like this clearly was supposed to go on longer and we're not getting it.
Yeah.
I see you, Ryan Johnson. Make this better.
Yeah.
See you, Ryan. What do we all get into? I start with credits
Same.
this week.
Credits?
So.
I have scenes.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm in an alley with Julia. So we're walking down an alley at night, and she's basically like, oh, I was going to do this alone, but I'm insisting. Anyway, we're basically trying to find her shade and find the dragon god to the underworld, whatever. There's like magical energy coming off of a drain cover, and there's ancient Greek writing on the drain cover. And Julia translates it as, old reveals itself to the new with the fall of milk teeth, which apparently is a name for baby teeth.
Baby teeth.
Oh, I knew that.
Oh, you knew that?
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah, he knew it too.
I did. When you said milk teeth, I was like, why does that? Like, because Milk Tooth is the name of like a restaurant, and I remember looking at that one time, like, what does that mean? And looking it up, and then I just hadn't thought about that until you said milk teeth.
I
And
think it used to be
had
more
that little
common.
spark in the back of my head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Julia's first idea is to cast a spell to find the nearest house where somebody's waiting for the tooth fairy. And Quentin's like, and go steal their teeth?
You could leave the money.
And that's
So
what
wait,
Julia said.
Yeah, right.
So wait,
That's the whole point.
Who cares if it's the real tooth fairy?
Well, my money doesn't spend. Fuck you, kid. Like, come on.
are we implying the Tooth Fairy's real?
I mean,
This
if
isn't
the
Gravity
answer
Falls, you're
is gonna
fine.
be point.
It's magic. Who knows?
Oh, you mean in this universe?
Yeah.
I just thought you meant in real life.
Oh no.
You're just learning now. I've got
Wait,
some
hold
bad
on.
news for you.
Wait a minute.
Holly's been slipping ones under your pillow.
You're not
should be
losing teeth
falling
anymore. Yeah.
Mike and his cookie habit, you think he's not losing teeth? Come on.
When you're low on cash, you just knock a couple out, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they don't have to be your teeth.
Yeah, that's at least $32.
Now we're talking about crimes.
Anyways, I let it be known that I have like a baby, like a molar that never fully grew in. And Julia, apparently that's a thing. I don't know. And Julia's like, oh, cool, sweet. Rips it out of my face with magic immediately.
No, no.
That sucks.
Even if it never fully grew in, molars are in there.
Yeah.
As somebody who's had 6 of their molars surgically removed, I can tell you, shit's not easy to get out.
And
Yeah.
and so Quentin's like holding his mouth in a little bit of pain. He's like, this dragon better be fucking cool.
Okay, if you told me, hey,
good.
we got to take out some wisdom teeth and then you can see a dragon, I would insist on the anesthesia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
Or getting drunk first at least.
Or go steal a baby's teeth.
I feel like if the baby is putting the tooth
Never
under
a
the
good
pillow,
start. Never a good. If the baby.
if the baby is putting a tooth under a pillow to sell, and
Yeah.
you provide cash, is
It's
that
fine.
stealing?
Well, also,
No.
I think I don't know if babies are legally allowed to enter into like
Business
financial
transactions, yeah.
exchanges. So like,
Well, are you arresting the tooth fairy then?
no, where's that baby?
This is like
that tooth fairy is in like in eternal what's when you're the maritime law.
yeah, the pillow is maritime law.
Yeah.
The
like,
pillow is its own distinct.
It is never ending maritime law.
The
The tooth
floor-
fairy abides by no crimes, neither on land or sea.
The floor isn't lava, the floor is ocean.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Anyway.
So we drop the baby tooth down the sewer grate, and after a awkwardly long pause where we think nothing's gonna happen, the sewer just like blows like the top off, and so we are going down into the sewers. And we're kind of, in flashlights going down the sewers, and we're like, why would a dragon want baby teeth? And then from the darkness, we hear a voice say, I collect...
Cowabunga.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry.
Smells like pizza down here.
I had to.
I mean, turtles.
Turtles and dragons.
Dragons.
And we know there are rats in this
What are you all
episode.
saying? What's the?
Kind of similar.
Are they?
They both have
Shell?
scaly
Scaly?
type of...
Sure. Okay. I just
don't
never
know.
looked at a dragon and thought turtly.
What about
I've
a
just
dragon
never-
turtle?
sounds
that
like
a
some
thing?
Chinese mythology shit to me. I'd be
Horned
fine with
turtles
it.
are
Yeah.
kind of dragony. Anyway,
Anyways, we find out this dragon collects baby teeth as she collects many things, and she calls me little mammal.
Do you see the dragon?
Uh,
Or are you just
it's
hearing
mostly
the
in
dragon?
shadow.
Okay.
I am hearing it.
Hidden
Later
by
we
budget.
get kind of we do get like a shot of like the side of the dragon's head, like a decent shot of it.
Gotcha,
And it
okay.
is kind of as it was in the drawing of like a Chinese style dragon, but we really only see kind of the head of it, not the full
Sure.
grandeur of the thing. And I say, "Greetings, your ladyship," and the dragon takes offense to that, saying, "I am a queen of the great worms." And I'm like, "That's awesome. I wasn't suggesting that you weren't." And she replies, "Your manner does not endear me to you, human." So Julia kind of takes over the talking at this point
mean,
because
it
I
all-
have a doctorate.
in all fairness, leading with Quentin is a choice. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quentin does not endear himself to other people, much less the Queen of Worms. So
Yep. And so Julia's basically like, "No, we're trying to, we're seeking passage to the underworld." And she's like, "Oh, you want to die?" And we're like, "No, we want to come back." And so she requires a gift to give us passage.
Okay.
And we're like, "Oh, I'm sure we can go find something." And she's like, "No, it's in your pocket already." She wants the button to Fillory.
Why would you?
Everyone
bring the
wants
button?
the button.
I mean, where else am I going to leave it? I want to get back to Fillory at some point.
I guess, but if I was gonna go meet like a being that is stronger than me, I wouldn't carry around like the one priceless treasure that I own that I know that other creatures want. That is like the only thing connecting me to my friends.
Yeah, but I don't think any other creatures are going to be able to take it from the dragon god, too. So it would be safe.
You actually don't know that.
I think it would either do that, or honestly, I would maybe do the opposite. Is I would just carry it in my hand, so that at any given moment, if things start going sideways, I could boop, and I just out of the fucking get the
I
fuck out of there.
guess.
Versus going into the dragon's lair with nothing but a song in your pocket. I guess.
Julia
You're a
seems...
magician.
Yeah, I guess he does have magic available. It's fair. That is this is a Queen of the Worms. Sorry, respect on the name.
Julia seems very against giving the button up.
Oh,
Quentin
yeah.
seems more like open to the idea of it, and
Just abandoning everyone in Fillory.
but that's his main concern is like, my friends are there, and then the dragon replies that, quote, "The first door remains open,"
Okay.
which
so
is
implying there is another way to Fillory that we probably don't even know about.
which is probably how one of the kids got there initially. I would
Maybe.
assume because they didn't have a button to start it, from what I
Yeah.
remember. The button was
They
an
got the
invention
button
later,
right?
Yeah.
They were given the button from the gods.
by
Okay.
Ember and Umber, right?
Yeah.
I asked if we can like borrow the button a couple times after we give it to her. And she's like,
If we borrowed
"Nuh-uh."
like alternating
Right.
Thursdays.
Blockbuster, kind of like.
Dragons aren't great about sharing, I feel. That's
Yeah.
generally a
But-
trait.
Long story short, I give up the button. I put it with the rest of her stuff. There's all these little trinkets and knickknacks on
Maybe
these
we
tables.
are ending the show if we're getting rid of
Eh.
access to Fillory.
No, because they already hint at another way,
I guess
right?
that's true.
In this.
For
story.
now. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And she basically says that our bodies are going to stay here, but our souls will travel to the underworld, and we have 24 hours to make it back. And if not, she's going to eat our bodies
Okay.
because she is a dragon.
Can you confirm that time moves the same? Because this fucks us up in the in between worlds. Does time work the same? You
It
have 24
seemed to in this episode,
God-fearing American hours.
but there's a big puff of smoke. There's a big puff of smoke, and we look down, and our bodies are there, and
Oh, you're like
then
corporeal.
yeah, and so
Incorporeal.
we're now in an elevator going down to the underworld, and it's like standard elevator, like ding,
Beetlejuice
ding,
style?
ding.
So
Like
you
just-
have until you have you be back here by like 8:00 God-fearing American Standard Time.
sure, yeah.
GFSD.
GFSD.
No,
yeah.
that's just Chicago time, baby.
Yep. Yay. Suck it, East Coast.
And after way too many floors, the elevator doors open up, and it basically has like a hotel vibe, like kind of like a mid-tier hotel / like hospital waiting room vibe.
Okay.
So there's a doorman who tells us to take a number, and there's like a deli style like take a number out of the little kind of round red machine ticket thing, and so we take a number.
I love.
This is very Beetlejuice.
I was gonna say I love the hell is bureaucracy
Yeah.
is one of my favorite like motifs. It's why like Brazil's one of my favorite movies of all time. Like the worst version of a capitalist utopia is basically just a bureaucratic playground, which
Red
is the same
tape
thing
underworld.
as hell. Yeah, right. It's the same thing as hell here. It's like a waiting line for.
My personal hell would be a line.
Yeah, honestly, I think we all share that opinion. I like
Yeah.
whenever hell isn't just a bunch of. Because, I mean, something about going into, like, a Ronnie James Dio cover is still kind of fucking cool, even if your skin's getting peeled and you're getting boiled in acid or whatever.
Dante's Inferno is still kind of sick.
It's
even
kind of
if
sick.
It sucks.
There's a reason why it inspired music and art for generations to come.
People like Dante's Inferno is like I've read this online. I think it's so funny because it's like fan fiction that's like influenced
Yeah.
religion.
Yeah.
It's like people like think that things that are in Dante's Inferno are like they're in the Bible, and I'm
Yeah,
like those are
they're,
not
like,
the
part
same
of the-
thing.
No,
it's
it's
fan
just-
fiction.
It's
Oh, God.
Dante had a bunch of fucking gripes with a bunch of cardinals and shit and just decided to put them in hell, and then they all got really, really mad, but he was super famous. It was very funny. Just basically a diss track.
Posting on
Really?
AO3 XXX underscore Dante underscore XXX.
I'd follow his AO3 account.
Oh, God.
Anyway.
Then I get credits.
Okay.
Nine slots. I got a tick.
What are you up to?
I am in the library.
Speaking of hell is bureaucracy, how's your internship?
I am
Unpaid internship.
How's your unpaid internship for a million
Internal.
years?
Nothing more American than an internal unpaid internship. I am sitting down reading a book, and the drawing is that highlights the back of a person, and I'm like, what's going on? And then I get the context clues because the librarian checks in and is like, hey, are you making any progress? And I'm like, am I? Nothing's happening. Like, I'm still the same. And she goes, well, it's an exceedingly difficult way to do magic, trying to isolate muscles not generally associated with. And I'm like, call it what it is. Sphincter magic. If it gets me there, no shame. So yeah, I'm reading a book about using your sphincter
To do
cast.
magic?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Glad you really jumped feet first into this pool.
More so butt first.
Yeah.
But
Clenching and unclenching.
Yep. And she's like, hey, speaking of, she's like, if it doesn't, we all need a healthy pelvic floor, so not a total loss.
Yeah.
And now it's back to my actual job. I gotta go reshelve some books, and if I have any questions, direct them to where'd you go, Sylvia. And young girl, he consistently calls her like a child. I think she looks young, but not like child young. And I'm like, am I babysitting now? He's like, no, this is actually your supervisor. Good luck. I'll check back. And she kind of sizes me up and just goes, nice scarf. And I roll my eyes. So that's my new library friend, Sylvia.
Okay. Sylvia. Someone to watch. What are we up to down in Fillory? You want to get to the big royal procession, bringing in my new hubby?
That's where I start.
Okay,
so.
I was curious if you had anything beforehand because
No.
you're
We're
still
basically together
looking,
the whole time.
Yeah, you're still looking pretty panicked. We all know what Margot has not told everyone in the show yet, and you can tell that like there is something eating at you. Like Margot's like, oh shit, like just sort of like rubbing your ears and just sort
I
of.
gotta tell my best friend
Well,
that I
because-
sold his child.
Yeah,
Big snake on the AV
Because
base.
we kind of jump in with Fen being missing. Like
Yeah,
nobody
she's
knows where
gone.
she is. That was very odd to me because I didn't feel like that's where we left off at the last episode. But
I might have been
clearly,
in this episode.
I feel like Fen had her own scenes.
Yeah,
that
where she
we did
goes to
not
confront
see.
the fairies or something
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
and something happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Elliot. So what's happening here? So Margot's sitting down in the throne room, and there we have all of the entourage, and it looks like it's all dolled up because King Idri is coming, and this isn't our wedding, but this is like sort of a first meeting post proposal pre-wedding, and I want to put a good foot forward. So Elliot's like panicked and making sure that everything's just so, and I'm like sitting down like fluffing my shirt and making sure that I like look all nice and proper and like taking deep breaths.
Wait, is the wedding today?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so. I think this is just like again the first time that we get the. I
feel
don't
like
really know
he's
why he came.
coming to be there for the wedding. I feel like the wedding is imminent. Like
Yeah.
The
this
wedding's
is
gonna be
like,
the season finale.
Yes,
Probably,
I think
right.
that this is like
And
the
a dragon's gonna show up.
Rehearsal.
the rehearsal dinner,
Maybe.
like the stuff that the pre-wedding things, but because he's from a different country, it's
Yeah.
a much longer setup.
Meet the parents,
to like,
everything.
yeah,
Maybe.
but we know parents though.
Right. And I mean, who knows what this was supposed to be because it gets derailed pretty quickly into the episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's something big happening. What we're doing here, I don't exactly know. But so Idri walks in his big white fur coat, looking splendid as always. And as soon as he walks in, Elliot is just like a gasp. Like
They're flirting
They're flirting.
immediately.
Oh, yeah.
I get to watch this and I'm like, oh god, they're already like Elliot is acting upset because all the things that he asked for, like the wine to be ready and the hors d'oeuvres to be ready, and then the dancers,
fire dancers. Yeah.
they're not there. Nobody knows where the stuff is at, and he's so mad that it's not perfect. But Idri is like, I hate to say playing you, because I don't see that much of it. But I had a feeling watching it that like the little things that like Margot and Elliot had talked about being like, oh, we can pillow talk you, like, but we can like manipulate Idri a little bit.
Oh, right.
I think it's the other way around. I think
For
it's
sure.
so the other way around because Elliot feels so enamored by Idri that he's just like, I don't know. Like he doesn't have his game face on.
No, he's got his bed face on for sure.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't, and I don't necessarily get the sense directly from Idri at any point that he is being specifically manipulative or malicious.
Not
but
yet,
I do think that he has all of the power and the maturity in this relationship.
Yes, he has the advantage.
Yes,
over
definitely.
You by
100%
quite a
does.
lot. Yeah.
And I think that's honestly part of what makes it hot to Elliot. Like
I'm sure,
this
yeah.
like kind of a kingly, stately older man who like is like sure of himself and is
he older?
Power.
Yes.
I'm not sure how much older.
I don't think a
looks
ton, but
pretty,
older.
But yeah, regardless of how much older,
Like if you had to guess.
I would
50s?
Oh, okay.
yeah, I would bet that he's probably 15 years older, maybe
Yeah.
to 20, kind of.
Like
Yeah,
some gray
I mean,
in his
like,
beard type
I
of
hooked
thing,
up with
if he
his
has a beard.
son.
I think he's
So,
he's
like,
bald.
think about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if he has like graying hair kind of deal. But
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with you though. Something I was gonna call out is like there's a maturity aspect. This is his like second marriage. His
Yeah.
like previous wife had passed, and like so there
It's your
there's
second marriage and your previous wife hasn't passed.
yeah
Well,
okay.
that actually is possible in Fillory.
Yeah,
No,
because this
because,
is my second
like,
marriage, and my first
yeah.
wife I don't think is passed. I haven't met her in this episode.
I
so
can guarantee that as of now, no.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, regardless to say, I do think this is also kind of like playing. I don't know if this is playing up the Idri. What I'm saying, I don't know if this is playing up Idri is playing Elliot, or if this is playing up Elliot is a kid with a crush, and Idri is an older man with a like political like relationship who's also sexually attracted to me, and is like both sides of that work for him kind of
Yeah.
deal. But
Yeah.
Elliot is fawning.
Sure.
Yeah.
Very much so. To the point where Idri like takes me aside and he's like, "Hey, I don't care about ceremonies. I've done this all before. I would prefer a place that we can like talk because we have things that we need to talk about." And Ellie's like, "Oh, yes, okay. Quite." And just so like take him off
Yeah.
stage left.
Yeah.
And I have some other scenes over there.
I
Does Mario
don't-
get up to
That's
anything?
it? No.
All
no.
right.
My next, I come back and the rattening has occurred.
You keep saying that.
Do either of you know anything about the rattening?
I
No.
don't know
Okay.
anything that happens in this episode.
Is it a Mark Wahlberg movie, but now he's talking to rats instead of plants?
It could be. I was also trying to figure out a way to like make the Tribe Called Quest like the blackening is happening, as in the rattening is happening, but I just couldn't like quite get over that hump. But I'm glad that we're both like we're trying to peck this like pop culture bug.
there.
Yeah, there's something there.
We've
that's
been
funny.
there.
Yeah, we're not
Anyway.
funny enough to do it right.
Could be Splinter.
Tell us about hell, and then
Yeah.
we'll jump back into the rattening.
I'm in the underworld. I'm not in hell. It's explicitly not hell. I know
Okay.
this because there's like a video playing that has like a little bit of like Good Place vibes where
Yeah.
like Michael is like, it's like, "Congratulations, you're dead," and it's like an old guy with like a golden retriever in front of a fireplace.
Michael, like Archangel Michael.
No, Michael, he's making
Michael from The Good Place.
The Good Place, which is a
Oh,
reference
okay.
to that.
I
Yeah,
was like, I thought we were doing religious stuff. I was like, I thought you said war.
And he's like, "Oh, we're here to help you with your, a comfortable transition. This is the first leg of your journey." And we look down at the table in this waiting area, and there's brochures that say, "Don't panic. You're probably not going to hell."
Oh,
That's
purgatory.
interesting.
And so yeah, we have ticket number 173, and the videos explain that we're grouped with others that have similar expectations. And kind of meanwhile, like Julia like lifts up her shirt, and there's like a giant kind of gooey hole where her stomach should be.
What?
It's because she's missing her shade.
Because she's missing her shade. And the video kind of continues. In the unlikely event that you're missing your shade, please report to a bellhop immediately. And then this kind of like happens in the background with another guy, and like basically like security is escorting this guy out, and it's kind of like he's, you know, agitated, and we're not really sure. And Julia's like, maybe I'll hold off on going to the bellhop immediately.
Yeah.
Our number's called though, so we go to the desk, which is very much like hotel reception desk. And the guy asks us to put our hands on the table for identification, so it like scans our palm prints or whatever it is, and he says that we both have died 39 times.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And he's like, oh, time loop. I thought so. Our computers don't handle this well. Well, this will take some time to sort out. So there's like some bureaucracy because like we had to go, you know, through the manual process or whatever to find our paperwork. Meanwhile, we ask about the guy who was being taken away, and like, what's going on with that guy? And the guy's like, oh, his soul's just missing a little piece. They're taking him somewhere he can be a bit more comfortable. And Julia's like, oh, can he be like reunited with the piece that he's missing? And he's like, oh, I doubt it. That's very difficult to do, especially after a prolonged separation. So solidifies the fact that Julia's not going to tell these people that she's missing her shade because
it sounds spooky.
Yep.
It's got that scary bureaucracy undertone vibe.
Exactly.
The Terry Gilliam shit. Yeah.
Like you ask direct questions that they don't give you direct answers to.
They give you direct answers that are by the book and don't answer anything.
Right, yeah.
They get the same answer all the time, and it doesn't say anything.
100%.
Yeah.
And so in the kind of context of like, this is going to be a long wait, he's like, oh, do you guys enjoy like skiing, snorkeling, art museums? He's like, basically like, we can set you up with someplace more comfortable while you're waiting. Right?
Interesting.
Julia's like, oh, can you check on a few names? I think she said a karmic circle that we can visit. And we'll get to that with my next scene.
Karmic circle.
So the transition on my scene is jarring because there's that moment between Sylvia and Penny, and there's a part of my old Penny brain where I'm like, Penny, Katie, like,
Are you guys dating though?
no,
Okay,
but
just checking. I was just asking.
because it's a hard transition to the sounds of sex, and I was like, oh no, wait, that's Katie, that's Katie.
You're hooking. Katie's still here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we are at the tail end of our sexcapades. And this is where where we're having this is described by this next interaction. I'm like, what do we call that? Insection? Intercepticourse? Inceptisex?
Are you in a dream or something?
We are in like a mind palace. Just hanging out in a mind.
And so it's got to be hers, though, right? Because she can't travel into dreams, but
or is
you
it
can.
some other third party?
Yeah, or it's like a consensual third
think I'm
party. Yo,
traveling-
you want to fuck in my head?
I think I'm traveling in a hermit.
What?
Okay, that is the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah, it's gonna say it'd have to be,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
there's no other.
And she does the whole like realize better, but at least here we don't have to get up for beers because everything's just kind of handy. And
That's like
you know,
sex beer.
and she's like, by the way, no pressure, but any word on the poison room. And I'm like, listen, I want to get in there. It's above my pay grade. Like there's a whole
Your
code
pay
to
grade
get
is
in.
0.
Exactly. So everything's above it. And I'm like, there's no way in. Like the code is locked down tight. And she was like, hey, does the librarian have a book about her? And I'm like, yeah, everyone has a book about. Oh, if this is as important to her as she makes it out to be,
Probably in her book.
it's probably in her book about her.
Which, if I was the person who was concerned about stuff, I would put that book in the poison room.
We will get back to that. And I'm like, okay, let me work on that. So that's my mission. How are things with the senator? And apparently he went back to work, made up bullshit about the kidnapping, and all the news outlets bought it. And apparently she also saw Reynard in the back of a press photo, kind of masquerading as an advisor. And Penny's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And she's like, "Yeah, he's a trickster. I guess that includes his own son." So like, Reynard being Reynard, and that's the end of that scene.
Okay. Interesting. Jumping over to Elliot. So Idri and Elliot had squirreled away to go have their important conversation, and you would be led to believe by the way it was led, by the way that Idri sort of invited Elliot to go to a second location, that it was gonna go into heavy sexy time or something. But we're like sitting next to a bed, but like on a couch.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know. And just like hands kind of folded, and you can tell that this seems to be just a pre-marriage, like we don't know each other, so let's kind of set the boundaries. Like we know that we're sexually attracted to each other, we know this is a marriage of convenience, but like we need to know more about like why we're here.
Look, any communication you have is better than the last marriage you had, because that one was just fully arranged with basically no talking before you got married.
None at all.
One conversation, you're already like looking up.
Yep. And honestly, that's exactly what we're talking about, which is probably healthy. If I'm going to go into, and we're all talking exactly the same conversation that Elliot is here to Idri, because Elliot is sort of, not bemoaning because he's not complaining, but like Elliot is talking about how, I'm telling him about Fen. I'm telling Idri about Fen, and that I married her out of necessity because we needed to do this thing here in Fillory to like save the world. And part of that was I need to marry Fen because I'm the High King, and that's the point. I was chosen. Like the thing didn't burn my hand. Like this is not my decision. I didn't like want to be king, and I didn't want to marry Fen, but I found this like foisted upon me, and I'm trying to like make the best out of it. And I don't really know her at all, and that's always been kind of weird for Elliot, that he doesn't, one, he never saw himself marrying a woman, and two, let alone a female stranger in a strange kingdom out of necessity. Like there's just all these layers to it that he's just not comfortable with, and he kind of like takes a beat there in the middle of saying that, and he's like, and now you're here, and I also am marrying you out of necessity, and also I don't know you. Like I just keep getting pushed into these like marriages, and he's like, you kind of get the sense he's like, yeah, you're like the hot older like dude who I did imagine like my dreams marry people like you. Like I have known for a long time that I would end up with like an older, mature man as my partner.
It's easier for you to get on board with this marriage than the
right.
last one.
I'm legitimately excited to like spend time,
or at least the concept of it.
Oh yeah, the concept of it. But I still don't know it. And it is still not my like decision. I still made it out of necessity. So we're kind of talking about this, and Idri, doing his thing, and again, pulling back to the idea that he's this more like mature, like worldly person, and I'm more of like an emotional sort of like like quick decisions, like think it through later, act now kind of a person. But he like. Idri is hearing me, what I'm saying, like, you don't know either of your partners, and it's kind of scary for you to like get into another marriage. There's a lot of moving parts. And he's like, but you know what? My first wife always told me about how to get to know another person. And sort of Elliot kind of like shakes his head, and I think answers the question correctly. He's like, the only way to get to know them is the hard way. And he's like, yeah. And he kind of like, Idri nods. He's like, if you're going to do the work, you got to do the work. So if you want to get to know me, you got to get to know me. And realizes that this conversation is maybe getting a little bit too dour for like what this is supposed to be. Like we don't want to get too in the weeds about the like Fen situation. This is supposed to be an exciting time. We are excited to get married. We are attracted to each other. So he kind of like, he's like, you know what? Let's do an exercise. And like Idri has Elliot stand up, and Idri's kind of standing in front of him. He's like, take that off. And he like motions to Elliot's like scarf, and Elliot's like, okay. And he's like starting to get a little smiley. It takes his scarf off, and he like Idri holds his hand out, and he puts it in his hand. He's like, unbutton. And he like unbuttons his top button. He's like, all the buttons. And then now Elliot's kind of getting like, oh, okay. And he's like unbuttoning his shirt all the way. And Idri kind of steps forward a little bit, and like the tension is starting to like drastically ratchet up. Elliot's starting to get flushed, and Idri kind of like gets close, and Elliot's like, he's like, there's only one rule. You know this. And he's like, I know, we can't touch. And like apparently that's the thing. Like until you're married in Fillory as like kings or royalty, there's no like physical or intimate touching between you until your wedding day, which I think is a similar thing with Fen. Like there was like, it seems to be kind of traditional values, not like consummate your wedding night kind of a deal to this culture. So there's something there where it's like we would be breaking protocol if we decided to hook up now.
But you've also been breaking protocol like with several other moves you've done recently.
For sure. Yeah, it's a little bit of a weak prep.
If he's already under attack for a lot of things, maybe you just
not rock the boat.
This is one you could do.
Maybe this is one you just hold. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then where this kind of goes to is Idri, again, being seasoned, he knows the rules, and he was playing around them. He's like, yes, of course, I know that. And he takes the scarf and he like wraps it around my head and like blindfolds me. And he's like, we can't touch, but I can tell you how I'm going to touch you, and you can show me how you like to be touched. And Elliot's like, okay. And he like kind of like finishes unbuttoning his shirt, and Idri kind of like takes a step back out of frame, and then Elliot's sort of sitting there like his body's kind of like tingling, he's kind of like vibrating back and forth, and then there's like a beat, and then he's like kind of he's like waiting for the next level of instruction because he's been like told what to do by Idri, and that's like the kink here, right? Like he wants to be told the next step, and he's like waits, and he waits. And then Elliot's like, if you're waiting for me to like give you permission, don't do that. and Idri doesn't respond. And then Elliot's like kind of like hesitantly kind of like lifts up his scarf, and the camera kind of like looks as though you're lifting a piece of fabric over the top of it. And I just see Idri's clothes, and it's a little bit of a redirect because I see his clothes on the floor, and you think like, oh, he's like taking off his clothes, he's going to be naked. And then you see her like squeak, squeak, and a little mouse runs out of his tunic. And that's when Margot runs in.
Yeah, and I'm screaming about how like somebody else like turned into a rat, and
he's a rat.
Yeah, and then we realize Idri has also been turned into a rat. A bunch of people turned into rats.
Yeah, there wasn't anything like, I didn't notice any magic. There was no pop. There was no like zazzle. There was no thing that happened. It was just I closed my eyes, and when I opened them, he was a rat.
Yeah.
So this is the reverse Cinderella.
Kind of,
well,
yeah. And
is this a thing that he does? Is this an external spell being
next
cast?
scene, we'll get there.
Okay.
We're gathering together with us and the one guy that is the sloth guy.
Yeah.
Who's the translator for the sloth.
Not the he's not
The sloth
actually on the
whisperer.
council. He's just the sloth
whisperer.
Yeah.
We're talking about how a bunch of people have turned into rats, and we're like gathering them up, but it's hard to tell if we have everybody because
It's like herding rats.
well, also there were already a bunch of rats in the castle.
Oh,
Yeah. So you don't know what's a rat from this and what's just a rat. And
Yeah.
like people come and go. It's a giant castle. So we don't know who's missing and who just like is gone for the day. So
Yeah.
like we just don't know what's happening really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're gonna announce. I think we're just gonna go into this because these scenes are kind of close. They're
Yeah,
tied
for sure.
together.
The council meeting.
We're just gonna do a council meeting with whoever is left and see what we can talk about. So again, it's us. It's the sloth whisperer, and is it one other person?
There's the main council head guy, the like character actor dude who I can't remember his name,
No,
but he's
these
in
names
everything.
I don't know at all.
Yeah, but sloth
yeah.
whisperer guy, him, Margot, Elliot.
And that's it. So this is the four of us.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for them, it's like they're like, this is magic we've never seen before. They have no idea what this even could possibly be.
Right.
So that is not great.
Yeah.
But it's also not only that this is magic that we haven't seen before, but this is also just one symptom of a thing that is going on in Fillory. Like people are turning to rats, but also anthills are turning into volcanoes. All the chickens have laryngitis, and rain is going up instead of down.
Normal.
So it kind of has the plagues kind of vibe, like you know, rivers turning to blood, locust swarms, that kind of deal. So like a lot of magical things are breaking bad, and this is like we're just dealing with the fallout from one part of a greater magical thing. So it's not just the rats.
Yeah. I think, I don't know if it's said here or not, but it definitely, the show wants you to think that maybe Fen had turned into a rat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that's why she was missing. So
And Elliot notes that a couple times. He's
Yeah.
like, you need to find Fen. She's probably like he is already in the assumption that the reason we can't find her is that she had been ratified.
right.
Like a tree?
Yeah.
The rattening. Yes.
rattening.
She was
Ratified
overcome.
is so good.
So
Thank you.
we kind of Margot has a scene where I'm presumably running around looking for Fen. So I don't know if you have one of those.
So this kind of scene that we're and maybe I jumped forward to the council meeting thing into that scene.
There's two. There's like a council meeting, and then I'm running around to just like collect people, I think, and then we have the scene where they talk about the upside down rain and the truth serum, which we'll get to in a second.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
Before the scene with the truth serum, I
pause.
have a scene where I am running around the castle, basically trying to gather people to like talk about stuff, to like be like, what are we gonna do? But while I'm doing that, I kind of jump, and I'm expecting to see a fairy as I turn, but actually I see the fairy like representative. So the human guy that is who came to talk to me at first, before the fairy started showing up and just coming out of nowhere. And I immediately get into a fight with him because I am pissed. I am yelling at him for like why he would go back on his word and turn everybody into rats and turn Fen into a rat. And he's like, Fen's not a rat. She's human. She's just in the fairy world. And the fairies took her because you were trying to do something clever with the deal. And I was thinking about that because I'm like, did I miss something? Like, I know she told Fen, and maybe they were expecting me not to tell her the truth because he overheard that original conversation where I was manipulating her.
Yeah.
So maybe he thought that by me telling her, I was like making it more difficult. Or maybe there was a scene with Fen and the fairies that I didn't see, that perhaps things were said that they didn't like, or she gave away that I was working on a plan to get out of the deal. Hard to say, but they come to the admittedly correct conclusion that Margot does not want to fulfill the deal that she struck, and so they struck first by kidnapping Fen. But she's human, and she's just in the fairy world with the baby. So that's where that is. And I am still being sassy with this guy because I'm basically like, well, everybody turning into rats with magic that nobody's ever seen before kind of smells like fairy bullshit. And he yells at her a little bit. Not yells at her, he scolds her, I think is probably a more correct word, for basically just thinking that it's all just like BS because she doesn't understand something. And so she's like, okay, well then how about you just tell me what the issue, like what actually is going on. And then he acknowledges her flexibility, let's call it, in like having a temper but also knowing when to like give in a little, like, she, you know what I mean? He then gives her the vaguest hint about what's going on that I've ever heard in my life. Basically, there is a power that we have all overlooked, and it doesn't particularly have a goal. It's just doing things because it can. And if we can't find it and stop it, it's going to destroy the kingdom.
Cool. There's a big powerful magic thing in the big powerful magical place.
Yeah, that theoretically is not like our previous villain, right? Where it had like a very specific goal, it was trying to do something. This kind of feels like we've irritated something in some way, and it's just happening because it can.
It almost sounds like more of like a force of nature type of thing.
Yes, definitely feels that way.
Do you get answers in this episode?
No,
okay.
Unfortunately.
So that might be season finale or something.
I do think so, yeah.
All right. I'm going bowling.
Okay.
Hey, you got to do something in purgatory.
Yeah, we're going to Underworld Bowling, and the sign says, "We never close." And I'm walking in with Julia, and I'm like, why would anybody want to spend their afterlife in, a place that looks like a terrible middle school birthday party? And Julia's like, is this about the incident? And I'm like, I've moved on. So, anyways, we walk into the bowling alley. Looks like kind of a standard, kind of rundown bowling alley. And there's, a couple women there that Julia gets recognized by, and they hug. They look excited to see her. Julia's like, where's Fender? And like, oh, he moved on. So clearly has like come out of this kind of purgatory waiting area to wherever he's going to end up.
Wait, so she knew a bunch of people who died and she was waiting to meet up with them?
So my suspicion is these are her...
the people got killed by Reynard?
Yes.
Okay.
The hedge witches.
Yeah.
And she feels somewhat responsible for their death too, right? So, that they don't really talk about that, at least in front of me. And we do get interrupted because behind us is, Renard.
Oh.
Oh, he can be in purgatory if he wants?
No, it's just a guy that looks like him. Apparently, Renard, stole one of her hedge witch's, bodies or whatever. And so this dude is there. I wrote down his name somewhere, and I can't find it in my notes. But yeah, he's just a guy who is a hedge witch or whatever. Julia's shocked all of a sudden, and then hugs, oh, it's good to see you, the real you. And he's like, the real me? What happened? So she doesn't really tell him any of that stuff, but...
Oh, weird. So, Reynard had, a different presentation and then, chose to present
I think Reynard might have, taken over... Because they did a spell... Remember, there was, a fake god that they were trying to summon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it went badly and all these people died. So maybe during that summoning, it might have taken over this guy's body. Reynard might have taken over this guy's body or something like that.
Decided to stay at home kind of deal.
Yeah, exactly. But Julia asks, I need your help. I need to find my shade. And so it kind of cuts to all of us as a group talking. The fake Reynard is talking about how there's 2,000 islands here that are built to look like Hawaii. And Quentin's like, and you chose a bowling alley? But yeah, so the kind of lore dump here is that the powers that be, which is apparently the second show in a row that has the powers that be.
Okay.
Powers that beat, in my opinion.
Help them settle in so they can move on with kind of their afterlife. And so the powers that be are gods that Hades created. Sorry, they're gods. And Hades created the underworld with Persephone. And Hades and Persephone live in a big house over in this area called Elysium.
Wait.
So
we're
this
just
is
doing
all
straight Greek.
Yeah.
Greek.
Because remember
afterlife.
Yeah, I mean there was Greek on the sewer drain.
But it's just interesting that that's the true. I mean, I guess we also have multiple worlds and universes. It is strange that the Earth
the
god is
universes,
run. At least
the pantheon is
the waiting area for hell or whatever. I don't know.
Or you could argue maybe they picked the one that you're culturally most familiar with. Is it potentially different from everything, or is it straight up Hades Persephone myth?
The impression I get is it's Hades and Persephone.
Okay.
Because it doesn't seem whatever. Apparently Hades and Persephone used to kind of come and go every fall and spring, but a while back they disappeared and haven't been seen since.
This is such a Terry Gilliam. This is Good Omens style.
Mm-hmm.
This is very much an homage to that style of anti-capitalist, anti-bureaucratic, religious allegory, modern gods kind of. That's interesting. I like that stuff. So,
not Reynard's name is Richard. I found it.
Richard.
So he's trying to find his son, who I think must have also died at some point. But they won't tell him anything because this guy was flagged as culpable, potentially culpable in the child's death.
Wait, so does the afterlife not know if he was culpable, or
apparently it doesn't know? It's just you might have been responsible, so we're not going to let you find your son down here.
That is interesting.
At least until they can find out more. I'm not sure. We don't really get much more of that.
So wait, sorry, I know you don't know, but that is so compelling to me that there's are they gonna have a court system over this? What is the solution here?
Yeah, you think they could just look, but
presumably.
I don't know. Maybe they don't have perfect records. I mean, obviously the computer system took forever to. I mean, we haven't been processed through it either, so I don't know.
Yeah.
And they don't know where the shades are kept in kind of this underworld area. One of them tells me that I'm gonna have to bowl, and I'm like, no, there was an incident when I was a kid. My fingers got stuck, and they all they're like, oh, you need to get over that. Don't worry about it. And so next scene is me bowling while they're talking behind me. So I don't get any audio, and I'm just bowling with these two ladies. And
having the time of your
life. I get a
life.
strike, and I'm happy about it. And Julia's like, hey, good job. But that's really about it for me for now.
Okay. Way to get over your fear. It's brave.
So I'm in the library, putting some books away, and the librarian passes by, and I do the hey, got a quick question, and she's like, oh, come. She comes over. She's like, how can I help? I'm like, hey, I never got your name. And she's like, well, you may call me the head librarian. And I'm like, well, what do I call you outside of work? And she's like, pardon? I'm like, yeah, just trying to figure out what to call you outside of work. That's when we're off the clock. And she's like, okay, I see what you're getting at, but inner office courtship is expressly prohibited. I'm flattered. Rules are rules.
Oh, you need her name to find her book.
Yes.
And I'm like, are they? Always?
And of course, he turns on the
Yeah.
the doughy
hottest
fuckboy
man on the
eyes.
show.
just penny mode engaged.
Are you sure
Are
we
you sure?
can't fraternize?
Always.
How about in your dreams, baby?
And she, I think an episode ago, I thought she was into me. And this is where she hits me with the Penny, don't take it personally, but you're not my type. You're a touch emotionally insecure, for which you compensate heavily with boisterous and foul language. I'm here if you need anything else. And I'm like, motherfucker.
She ain't wrong.
She's not wrong. That's the worst part,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
The worst part is that she's not wrong.
Nailed it.
But he's like, but I'm so hot.
Have you seen my scarf? And right before she leaves, I look down and she's holding her lunch bag, and the top of the bag is folded over, and you just see like words poking out. And I'm like, oh. And Sylvia sees this play out and just starts laughing at me. I could jump into my next scene.
Yeah, go for it.
I head into like the break room and I go into the fridge and there is a just wall of lunches with names on it. I'm like, oh, come on.
They all look identical.
All look identical.
Of course.
That's very funny.
Just
why not?
uniformed with different names. Like, shit. And I'm sorting through it. And Sylvie comes in like, what are you doing? It's not your break time yet. And I'm like, are you gonna narc? And she's like, well, maybe if you answer a question and I'll forget what is going on right now. And I'm like, never. What's the question? And she goes, you trying to fuck the librarian? And I'm like, no. She's like, I saw you. You want to fuck her. You want to lick her butthole. I'm like, no, I don't want to do any of that. Sylvia is a blast so far. She does not give a fuck. I'm like, then why are you scamming so hard that I nearly caught you? Like, I'm like, I need her name. I'm like, oh, should have just mentioned that. Her name's Zelda S, and she throws the correct lunch. And that was the lunch she also took. Like, she went in, grabbed someone's lunch, and started eating it, and it was the librarian's lunch. Sylvia doesn't give a fuck. And her name is Zelda S. It's for Shot or Schiff. It's something like that. Let me know if you find anything gross in her book. I have a feeling she's a total freak in the sack.
So that's actually kind of funny though, because if I found myself unwillingly in a unpaid eternal internship, I also would not give a fuck.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Fire
me?
She could be trying to get fired.
Yeah.
But Penny does kind of want to stay here because this is where his hands are fixed.
Yeah.
Or at least
Or
For
butt.
now, I
Or
guess.
my
now,
butt.
yeah.
That's
you don't
true.
really know.
Either
too
fix my hands or improve my butt.
But I mean, like,
Porque los nos
you
dos.
can start building up the case for firing
Yeah.
once you've gotten that solved.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And I essentially am like, all right, child, what's your deal? She's like, I'm not a child. What do you mean, what's my deal? She calls me grandpa. And I'm
Is
like,
she young?
she doesn't look that young.
Okay.
She probably maybe this is weird because I'm supposed to be a grad student. She looks like early 20s.
I think she's supposed to be like a high school freshman.
She doesn't look like that. We're back in the era
but
where
we're talking TV, man.
I know,
You
we're
can't
in the-
talk what the actress actually is.
I know.
But how am I supposed to know how old this person
That's
is?
what I'm saying.
that's-
We're
that's-
living in that era where high school students are 27.
This came out in like 2010. This is not that right era. They do cast high school students now.
She looks older, but I guess she's supposed to be a teen.
You. Okay, cool.
And she called me grandpa, which stings. And I'm like, what are you doing here? Are you stuck here? Like, what do they have on you? Why are you here? And apparently, they're protecting her. I'm like, protecting from what? And she goes, well, my dad's a businessman, and sometimes competition gets a little rough, so he sent me here for protection. And I'm like, so he's and then she finishes my sentence, legitimate businessman. Can we not talk about it? I'm like, oh, you're like that whiny kid in The Sopranos, Willow. And she's like, God, you're so lame. And then she goes to leave and goes, by the way, her name is Meadow. So I'm assuming she's some sort of mafioso kid and, deals are going down and now she's here for protection.
yeah, the place you can put your kid, like a babysitter, but with like intense security.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make friends with 27-year-old high school students.
Should we jump back to us sitting in a room with all of the advisors, by which all of them we mean 2?
And just having a chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do the jump back in.
Because this is when we're talking about, like, is there any pattern to this magic? The upside down rain, the volcanic anthills, etc. Nope. We don't really know, and people are kind of just scared, which I get. Like,
And it's getting worse. It's not like a thing. It's not like a one-off event where everything happened and then we can like deal with the fallout, but it is escalating.
And we know that it can't really be Idri and his people because he turned into a rat. So why would he turn himself into a rat? So that doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Could be a good misdirect.
It could be a good
The Foo Fighters are still out of commission.
They are.
They're the other player in the game.
Which is strange, but I'm not convinced that they're completely out of commission, but sure, let's pretend that that's
the
true.
show seems to believe it for this time.
Yeah. And then that only leaves kind of us, the people in this room. Like,
which I think is a weak premise.
I do too.
But
I don't know. I feel like mole advisor
is the point.
But I mean, how would this, I don't really understand how this would be relevant to, like, theoretically somebody outside of this castle could be doing this.
Sure.
In fact, Margot knows that is what the fairies are implying.
Yeah.
So,
which you haven't told us about the fairies yet. But
That's true.
But I also feel like it's more of a weak premise, at least so the reason there's two folds here. The reason Elliot mentions it is because he truthied everybody's wine and he wants to just like prod with a question so that people will answer honestly.
Yeah.
Because he had truth serum in it. But the other aspect of this is like, let's say that it is a corrupt like person of the court who is not the king and will not ever be in power, why would they want to blow up their kingdom's political structure, of which they are the highest possible like level of power and connection that you can have without being the king? You're
Right.
a direct king's advisor or like a royal advisor. So like, it doesn't technically make sense for anyone on the court to be like, let's blow up my whole world and all of my stability if you are like actively
I don't
doing
know
a
if that
thing.
holds much water. They could be idealists, and they could also sympathize with the Foo Fighters or whatever it is.
Sure,
Right?
yeah.
Like,
yeah, but I feel
Otherwise
like
it
in
makes
that
sense,
sense, you'd be doing more of what the Foo Fighters were trying to do, which is just assassinate him. Like, you don't need to blow up the entire
The
functioning
countryside, too,
country.
right.
This is like
Yeah.
affecting
Hurt the people.
whole, not just it's not
but
just
I
happening
mean,
in the castle.
whatever. Like, I'm not. We don't need to get too deep in this.
Yeah,
but,
regardless.
I mean, I think it's kind of interesting because it is a political.
sure. But then if you assassinate him, then you turn him into a martyr, and it strengthens his cause.
To
'Cause
who? He's like got a very low approval rating.
And a martyr would make his approval rating go up. If people were like, oh, this guy was murdered, and now Margot and the other kings are like, taking over his goals and furthering them. Like,
Oh, sorry. I would assume that we were all dead, like in that situation.
They
Like,
kill
they're not
all the
just gonna-
humans
Yeah,
kinda
they're
deal.
gonna kill all the humans.
Sure.
Like they wouldn't just kill Elliot.
But
But I get what you're saying.
yeah, regardless, I prod with the question, not because we're actually positing the question, but more because Elliot wants to posit a question to a bunch of people who he just slipped truth serum to see if anyone cracks. And the first guy who's like the head advisor, I should really learn his name. He's in like every episode now. I'll figure that out next week. I keep on not learning his name, assuming that we're going to see less of him, and he keeps popping back up. He's a pretty famous character actor, so I really should learn it. But regardless, he like is taking a sip, and Elliot's like, so does anyone have anything they want to say? And the guy's like, I've been embezzling from the royal treasury. Why did I just say that? And Elliot's like, aha. And then he's like, truth serum. And then you find out that the sloth guy has been running a prostitution ring with the help of the guards. And Elliot's like, I mean, devious.
sorry, the sloth or the sloth whisperer?
The sloth and the sloth. Well, I think both
Yeah,
of them.
both of them.
Like they have
Is
been.
it a sloth prostitution ring or
No,
a
it's
human
I
prostitution?
think it's a human. Well, it could be both. Honestly, I don't
Who
really
knows?
know. Apparently, Margot makes a reference that he's in love with the sloth. So like they have a relationship in some way. So.
Yeah, it seems to. Never mind. I'm not going to make the comparison. Doesn't matter. Regardless, but they're getting the point of this is they're getting help from the town guard, and Elliot's like, I mean, 1, bastards. 2, kind of respect it. 3, we'll deal with that later. That's not the biggest pressing issue right now. Okay, I guess it's nobody. And this is when Margot, like, you're trying to, like, your mouth wants to talk and you're trying to physically
like
clench it.
sweating.
You're like,
Yep, and Margot is sweating. She really wants to not say it, but she does. But like weirdly, she phrases this in a way that makes her look the worst possible way. Because she goes, "It was me," and I'm like, "It's not you though. Like
Yeah.
you know that the fairies didn't do this, but like she says, it was me, and I made a deal with the fairies, and they took Fen."
Yeah.
basically. And I was doing it to save. I was doing it to save Elliot.
Yeah.
But like,
because this is what we kind of cut, and we'll just do directly this. But basically, like at some point in between the cuts, we sent the other two advisors, and now we're having a one-on-one about your great transgression.
I'm like offended that he truthied me.
Yes.
But also I'm like, but you know that that's what he calls it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, I'm offended he did that, but two, I'm also like, but you know, now that you know that you've done it, you know I'm being honest with you when I'm saying I only did this for you. But he makes a good point, which you've brought up before, which is like the reason that we're even in this mess to begin with, where he had to do a fight, is because I declared war without talking to anybody and like starting an issue.
And then you made the deal with the fairies without talking to anybody, and Elliot's kind of like getting more emotional about it for real reason. He's like, you keep on making these decisions, and now my wife and my child are missing, and I think Elliot legitimately believes you that you did not want any harm to befall them, and this wasn't your plan. But Elliot makes the kind of like game time king call here, where he's like, I'm sorry, Margot, guards, and just like he seems exhausted by his decision. And I don't remember exactly how he phrases it, but basically he's like, he's not throwing you in there because he's like, you deserve to be executed for this transgression. He's like, I can't keep worrying about fixing your impulsive decisions. I need somewhere where I know that you're not a factor, so I can solve this.
Yeah.
So he's like, you're going to go, and Margot seems really hurt. Obviously, her best friend's throwing her in the brig, and the kind of way that they soften this a little bit. So the guards come in, they go to take Margot away, and Elliot's like, make sure she has the nicest room, and please make sure to grab her coconut oil on the way down. Like he's giving you your moisturizer.
Yes.
He wants you to have the finest room, but he does need you to be somewhere where you'll stop making these kind of calls.
Yes.
And he can solve it. So
I have one more scene.
cool.
I have a couple.
I got one more.
I have another big
Let
one.
me run through a couple.
Yeah, let's do a couple. Let's get to where we're all kind of
I have a quick scene where it's basically we're back in the waiting room, and not Reynard, I think Richard, I said. He's basically causing a distraction so we could sneak behind the counter, right? Doesn't matter. He just like starts pulling tickets, and the guy behind the counter is like, you're not supposed to be here, Richard, like whatever. So we sneak behind the counter, and we just get like the logbook that's like disconnected shade, and the location for all of them just says capital letter E. We pick up that's Elysium. So our next scene is that big house that we talked about, like Hades and Persephone's house in Elysium.
We're really just playing the video game Hades right now.
There's like security walking past, but we kind of just sneak into this house, and it's full of kids. Like there's just it like has like orphanage, like super fancy orphanage vibes, but there's like, I don't know, I see dozens of children like just playing and hanging out here, right? One of them we see is like making this like dollar bill kind of like float, like it's like kind of being caught in the wind, and then it like disappears or something. And Julia's like, what do you just do with that dollar? And the kid's like, oh, the dollar for the boy with the shitty dad. And we're like, what? And he's like, oh yeah, he ran away, and now he's cold and hungry, and he's gonna find this dollar on the sidewalk. There's another girl in the corner who's like making flowers bloom, who we find out is like making that happen in a hospital. Basically, these kids are like performing minor miracles around the world. So like, whatever, just like minor stuff, like making flowers bloom for a patient who like has nobody else in the hospital, and like making giving $1 to a kid who's hungry, right? These, I think we find out these kids are shades, right?
Right.
Okay.
So
because that makes sense, because the girl that you saw her shade.
We saw Julia's shade is like
is a
looks like
little
a
girl.
young Julia.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So we ask about Julia's shade. We're like, oh, have you seen like another shade? And we start describing her, like, oh, dark hair, whatever. And Quentin basically like says this in a way that like he kind of gets caught up in it. He's like, talking about Julia's personality, right? Oh, she probably made friends with the other maladjusted shades, and she's curious, and she's not going to take no for an answer, like being very flattering towards her. Julia kind of gives him a smile, whatever. And the kid's like, oh, are you looking for the kind of new one who's always getting into trouble and sneaking into Miss Persephone's room? And we're like, yeah, that sounds like it.
Ding, ding.
So we follow this kid, and he's, at the bottom of these stairs. He's like, oh, up the stairs, and it's the last door. And there's a painting on the wall that's like one of those, is it Baroque? Those old like Jesus paintings with the big gold halos around them.
I know what you're talking about.
like that art style of like it looks kind of like a portrait you might see of like Mary.
Yeah.
And Julia's kind of like caught off guard by this painting and is like, who is the painting of? And the kid's like, oh, that's Miss Persephone. She hasn't been here in a long time and no one knows where she is. Right. The kid leaves. Julia says to Quentin that that's Our Lady Underground, the god that they were trying to summon.
Oh.
It was Persephone.
Was Persephone. And Julia's basically talking to the painting. It's like, so you were real all along, huh? Just completely AWOL. You self-centered bitch. We were so stupid to love you. Which I feel like is a little unfair. Like, if this god
That's
is
very
missing,
unfair.
there's probably like a reason that the god is missing.
Yeah.
Also, like, you don't even know if you called her, like, if the spell didn't work because she wasn't listening, or if the spell didn't work because you did it wrong,
Or
like,
because Reynard has her captured somewhere and
Yeah.
was summoned instead because he's been manipulating this. Like, whatever. But, like, obviously Julia's still hurt by this because all her friends died because of it and, like, everything else that happened.
She lost her shade.
And, yeah,
Lots of-
whatever.
lots of sad
Lots
things.
of bad things
Yeah.
happened because of that, right? So we go upstairs, and Julia says, I'm glad I know. It's always better to know. But basically, she's going into this room, and I'm going to keep watch while she finds her shade. So, and there's a little cut here, so.
Last scene?
Yeah, hit your
We all
last
have last
scene.
scenes, yeah.
Okay.
Unless you have something really impactful, I feel like
No,
one
no,
of
no.
us ends it
No.
off. Yeah.
So very quick scene of going to the library to look for Zelda's book, and I find a note that has her name, Zelda Schiff, relocated, poison room.
yeah, smart lady.
Of
Yeah.
course.
That's what I would do.
Yep.
That's what I would do.
And so it's a then quick scene jump to the Mind Palace, where I'm talking with Katie about it, and like, of course, she fucking moved her book to the poison room, one step ahead. And Katie's like, so what's the next move? And I'm like, I don't know, admit I'm cursed. Like, just everything I try to do, like, it just, there's another block. And then Sylvia shows up out of nowhere, like, is this all you guys do? Talk about your fifis? I was kind of hoping you'd be fucking. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Oh, is she also a traveler?
Seems like it.
That's interesting.
We don't address it, but I assume so. We're both like, how did you... What? I'm like, oh yeah, I hopped into your mind when you hopped into hers. It's a little trick my dad's friends taught me. And we're like, okay.
Got a spooky mafioso daughter hanging out.
Uh-huh.
We like it.
And Kay's like, your dad's friends are perverts? Just jumping into people's minds? And I'm like, no. They're thugs. Magic mobsters. Which is why she's leaving. And she's like, no, I'm not leaving. She introduces us to Sylvia. And she's like, you know what? Fine. If you don't want me here, kick me out. You don't need my help. I'm like, help with what? Like, trying to break into the poison room? Like, I've been in your crappy Nolan movie for like 20 minutes and I heard everything. Like, I know what you're trying to do.
Oh my God.
And I've been trying to get in there myself because I'm curious about a few things. So, option one, you start from square one with no information to help you on your ploy. Or, option two, you get my help. And Kay's like, pervy mop girl has a point. And I'm like, I don't know, it's dangerous. And she's like, you know what's safe? Nothing. You're not responsible for me. I have free will, and I'm exercising that shit. And I'm like, I'm gonna hate this. And she's like, you hate everything, and that's why I like you. And I roll my eyes again. So,
That's the end of your episode.
Okay.
So you're making friends in all the wrong places, huh?
yep, pervy mobster girl.
Yeah, fair enough. What are you gonna do?
I'll jump down to my scene.
Yeah. How's the jail? Did they find you a nice one?
Yeah, it was nice. There's
Okay,
like
that's
pillows
good.
and stuff. It's still small, frankly.
Yeah, what are you gonna
But
do? What are
I
you
would just
gonna
say that Margot is not very, very long before Sloth Whisperer shows up with a potion. It's something that I apparently had asked him to bring me. It is a teleportation potion that takes you to the fairy realm. And you know, he's like, I would love to go in your place, but I really just can't. But if you drink it, you will go to the fairy realm and you will be there with where Fen is, and maybe you can talk to the fairies.
Interesting that he's on your side and like getting you out of jail.
I don't know so much if he's on my side as that I probably promised him things or gave him
Yeah,
money or
I'm
something.
sure.
He seems very easily bribable. So I don't know exactly if this means,
Yeah.
if this is signifying any particular loyalty in any way.
He does seem to have a thing for a woman in power, considering
That
his
is true.
affinity for the sloth debutante.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I just say, I take it and I'm like, it's my mess to clean up. Make sure you tell Elliot that. And I take the Swiss and
Okay.
like literally before I disappear, like before it, like the bottle crashes to the ground. So I'm like gone as soon as
And that's the end of your up.
that's the end of my episode.
All right. Do you feel like you have the final up?
I do.
All right, cool.
The music from my last scene goes into the credits music.
Cool deal. So we cut back into Elliot, who is standing in front of Josh, the chef kind of dude, the funny guy, and he's naked in the middle of the room, and you don't quite get what's happening because Elliot is out of breath, exhausted, and sweaty, and Josh is naked. And there's this moment where you're not quite sure what's happening, and Josh seems like amazed, like, how'd you do that? And Elliot's like, 3 straight minutes of casting. If you could give me a second, I was like, I need to get back to it. He's like, I took some kind of like special like magical mint that helped up my stamina. And you like, it's not sex. I did it to cast a very complicated spell. He was a rat, and I turned him back into a person.
Okay, so you like dispelled it.
I dispelled it, but it was through a like sheer force of will, and you get the sense that like Elliot can't just like bang these out back to back and turn
Yeah.
everyone back into
Refractory
rats.
period.
Excuse me. Yeah. Excuse me. So Josh is doing his normal like. I was like, "Do you want to put some clothes on?" He's like, "No, I'm all right." He's like his normal kind of like affable self, like the kind of same dude he is in every scene. So he's kind of like walking around, and I'm telling him that, like, I'm exhausted. He's like, "Why don't you just?" He's like, "So it's like just the spell though. Like, why don't you just get some of your dukes or some of your governors? Like, there's a lot of magical people around here. Like, you don't have to like just to have them turn the people back into rats if it's that exhausting." And I was like, I don't have anybody else to do that. It's like, I don't have. And he's like, "You don't have any governors or dukes?" And I was like, "No, I should get on that. Just another job to add to the top of the pile for High King Elliot. When I get around to it, I'll hire some governors. I guess that's on me too." And he's like, "Fuck that, man. Why don't you just like hold an election? Let the people tell you who their governors should be, and then you just rule them." And Elliot's like, kind of like looks like kind of blinks twice, and Josh is like, "I'm so sorry. That was out of place. Like that was stupid." And I was like, "Josh, you're fucking brilliant." And I stayed up. I was like, "Josh, I think you just invented democracy, and I think it's gonna save Fillory." And he's like, "Hell yeah, partner!" And like goes for a high five. And I go to high five him, but right before our hands make contact, there's like a snap kind of deal, and our hands pass through each other, and I spin around, and when I'm spun around, I am back in the physical kid's cottage. And there's a party happening, and that dude who like went to Ibiza with you, I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Dylan?
I have no
Whatever,
idea
it doesn't
what his
fucking
name
matter.
was. Todd. Thank you.
Fucking Todd's. Always a Todd. Should have known. But he's like ripping a bong on a chair at a party, and he's like, "Elliot, dude, I thought you were, hey, man, I thought you were like ruling a magical kingdom." And I was like, "I am, but I think I might have just been fired. Or I think I might have just been kicked out or something like that, right at the end." But like, he doesn't know why he's here.
He's not supposed to. You're not
He's not supposed to be able to leave.
Yeah.
And I seem confused, and that's the end of the episode.
And we don't have the button anymore.
And we don't have the button anymore.
The first part of this, like, I'm kind of outside that door, and I hear glass breaking, and I also hear giggling. So like, I open the door. There's a cut. Obviously, something happens with Julia, but it cuts back, and I have Julia's shade with me as we're going into this room, right? So I found Julia's shade, bring her to Julia. Julia's with another shade who is a young girl with blonde hair and glasses.
Oh, okay.
Any guesses?
Yeah.
Little
it's
Alice?
Alice.
It's Alice's shade.
Uh-huh.
Julia hugs her shade, and they're like talking in the background. I'm like, hugging Alice's shade, and like, she's like, "Quentin, I miss you so much." Kind of time cuts forward here or whatever, but Julia's like, "Quentin, it's time." And I'm like, kind of like, obviously I've like kind of been crying and like emotional, whatever. And Quentin says that this is why I couldn't make the math work. So like that spell that I did to try to bring Alice back, that I couldn't get to work. Something was missing in like kind of the formula, and it was that there was a piece of her missing, right?
Yeah.
The shade. And Alice's shade says, like, "I have to go now. There's a portal in the closet that'll bring us back to the elevator." And I tell her that I'm going to be back here for good one day when I die, I guess, and I'm going to find her. So we kind of one final hug. Julia's like, okay, you first. So I go through this portal. I'm at the elevator, like mashing the button. Doors open. Julia comes with Alice's shade in tow.
Oh, not her own shade?
I don't know if I miss, like, I obviously missed stuff, right? So I don't know if they, like, recombined
Okay.
or not.
If she
I guess I
shaded
would
up.
assume she did, because that's the
Yeah.
reason we're here. I don't get any confirmation one way or the other of that, though.
Okay.
But the three of us get in the elevator, and I'm, like, looking concerned, like, this wasn't the plan.
Right.
And Julia's like, this isn't up for debate. And I'm like, well, if you do this, and Julia says, I know this is my one shot, and this is what I want to do with it. And that's when the kind of like the receptionist down the hall notices us and starts like yelling and running after us or whatever. And we get in the elevator, doors close, we're going up, and Shade Alice says it's all going to be okay, Quentin, and that's the end of my episode.
Okay.
Don't look back.
Yeah.
Don't ever die again.
If
and
you're
we'll be-
taking somebody from Hades
Uh-huh.
and you've worked your way all the way down there to get her,
Yeah.
you need to continue walking and don't look back before she's gone.
Is this video game stuff?
This is a
No,
video game.
this
one.
is
This is
actual
Greek
Greek
mythology.
mythology.
Oh,
Jesus.
right.
Thank you, Stasia.
Thank
Wait.
you.
This is
So wait, they built a mythology off the game?
Orpheus. Who is it?
Yeah, where he
And
plays the music and his
my high school class is coming back to me. I can't remember her name.
I can't remember her name either.
Is it Euripides?
Euripides.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the episode.
That's the
Okay.
episode.
Eurydice.
Eurydice.
Sorry, it's close.
It's all Greek to me.
Okay. That's actually a good ending.
Hey, baby. I'm your host, Mike, signing off. Left me as always.
It's Sasha.
In front of me as always.
It's Colin.
Right here, right now.
It's Brian.
Keeping the background often.
Producer James.
See you next time.
Bye forever.
For more information, go to popculturerollcall.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Please subscribe, rate, and review. Our new theme provided by Stephen Rossbach. Find him at stephenrossbach.com for more of his work. Join us next week for another episode of Pop Culture Roll Call.